So one of the so-called ufologists slash journalists that make my alarm bells go off when it comes to the authenticity of UFO cases is Jaime Maussan. Okay, whenever I see Jaime Maussan coming forward and presenting something as real and authentic, in my mind, it pretty much means it's not real and authentic. And I'm going to link down in the description a Reddit thread that someone kindly put together that shows all the different hoaxes that have been promoted by Jaime Maussan in the past. And it's a long list, okay? There's a lot there. Look, this is just my interpretation and comes from my observation, but I feel that there's absolutely no filter when it comes to Jaime Maussan. He presents whatever he sees, okay? There is no filter in terms of checking credibility and whether something is real. Now, one case that Jaime Maussan has been propagating in the past very loudly and boldly is the story of Milan-based costume and fashion designer Antonio Urzi. Now, as of recently, and I mean in the past few years, I don't think Antonio Urzi has presented any more UFO sightings and cases publicly. He has now, from what I could find out, focused more on his fashion design and costume design business, and he's good at that. You can find his Instagram page where he shares all his work. There's good stuff there. I mean, I'm not a fashion designer, so I can't really judge his work. But apparently he also did work with Lady Gaga and stuff, so he's good at what he's doing, and his fashion design work is credible and good. But in the past, he was not known for his fashion design work. He was known for his UFO sightings, and he's been featured in various documentaries, like, for example, the Antonio Urzi story, which is a documentary hosted by Jaime Maussan, breaking down in 39 minutes where the guy lives, what he does, how he captures his sightings, and apparently he has captured 1,700 UFO sightings since 2000. Keep in mind, the man lives in Milan, I think in one of the suburbs of Milan. So that's already questionable, right? If you live in a city like Milan, which has over 1.3 million people living there, even you live in the suburbs, as far as I'm aware, nobody else besides him has ever captured these objects. You know, it's not that there's an object seen by Antonio Urzi and hundreds of other people say, yeah, I saw it too, here's my recording of it. It's always just him from what I can find out. But it's a very famous case within the world of ufology. I mean, the documentary, the Urzi case, a UFO mystery in the skies of Italy, is even now still on Amazon Prime, okay? You can go and watch it. And I can already hear you say, dude, you know, Antonio Urzi has been debunked as a hoaxer many years ago. That may be the case for some of you guys, but during my research, you wouldn't believe how many people still come forward. Whenever there's a Reddit thread that says list your most credible UFO cases, most of the time Antonio Urzi's sightings are in that list. There are polls happening on Twitter where the majority of people say, no, it's real. It's definitely real. You find so many comments on platforms like Twitter and stuff of people still supporting it. This is from 2022, you know, where people say, well, these videos don't really look hoaxed to me. The videos were analyzed by NASA experts and they say the actual size of the objects were huge. And do you realize the videos have been analyzed by professionals and proven to be authentic? So don't think that just because you don't think his footage and what he presents is credible means that everyone agrees on that. There's still a lot of people out there who think Antonio Urzi's footage is real. Now, we're not going to have time to analyze all 1,700 sightings that he claimed to have in the past, but I do want to show you guys a bunch of his videos so you get an idea of the kind of footage that Antonio Urzi usually captures. And what's interesting is while you do your research on this topic, a lot of videos have been deleted, whether it's videos about him, whether it's videos about his footage or his sightings. A lot of the stuff is just removed from the internet. And I don't know if this is in part an effort of his to kind of draw a line under his UFO history, which is totally fair. But I do want to show you guys just a few scenes from some of the videos that he captured throughout the year. So we're starting with this one from April 2007, so a very, very old one. And one of the trademarks of his videos is that these discs that he always films have a quite high level of detail, right? He zooms into them and you do get more detail than in other UFO sightings, which is probably in part the reason why his sightings are so popular and gain so much traction online. Because, I mean, look at it, right? I mean, the camera is always very, very shaky in all of his footage. But another thing that is a trademark of almost all of his footage is that the UFOs that he films never disappear. Okay, they may move a little bit to the left or forward and backwards against the backdrop, but they never disappear completely out of frame. Here's another clip that he uploaded in 2015. Okay, so a little bit newer, but you can kind of tell it looks quite similar, right? Again, it's like a silverish or more like brass-covered, a disc-shaped object. Again, it looks quite similar. The footage is always like this, right? It's quite shaky, but then as you see here, when you zoom in, you actually get quite a lot of detail from these videos, and this is 2015, as I said. And then here's one from 2021. Apparently, It's the latest one that I could find. And again, it looks very, very similar. These discs always look similar. They don't move out of frame. They behave in a very similar way. Another thing is that he rarely opens the shot to show other objects in reference, right? To open the shot and see buildings. Maybe the object would go behind the building to give some point of reference. From all the footage that I looked at, I couldn't find it. I mean, please feel free to share footage down in the comment section below, okay? If you have footage where some of the objects that he shows actually disappear behind buildings, then please share that with me. I'd be curious to see that. I couldn't find this. And this is actually interesting because obviously he was what seems to be upstairs in the previous shot filming it, and he talks about this in his documentary. He has this little balcony, like a window, a roof window where he films them through. Now he went downstairs on some kind of terrace or balcony or something, and the object is gone, right? Like he's filming the sky, and as he's filming it, he can't get hold of it anymore. Apparently the object is gone. And you have to wonder, why is the quality of his footage always so bad, okay? I mean, the 2007 one I can understand. It's a long time ago. The camera technology wasn't where it is today. But this is 2021 footage, right? And it just doesn't look good. It looks like he's using an outdated camera. And if you really have 1,700 sightings and everyone is kind of hoping to see more clear footage, why don't you invest a few $100s into a slightly better camera to capture this phenomenon? It raises all kinds of questions. Another question is, like I said before, if you live in Milan and you see these objects, why do you never, within 1,700 sightings, ever bring your neighbors over or a friend and say, look, here's like 4 or 5 friends of mine. They all see it as well. It's kind of more a mass sighting. That never happened, as far as I could find. Also, why does he never use a tripod? Yeah, I mean, you can see him using a tripod in some of his footage, but nonetheless, the footage is always very, very shaky. And I just feel like him doing this since 2007, allegedly. Why are we not improving the footage? Why are you not ready and get the technology to get like proper, clear footage of these alleged objects hovering over your house? So these are already loads of red flags for me personally. Obviously, keep in mind everything I'm presenting here in terms of debunking it and explaining what it is. That's just my opinion. It's my interpretation. I am not him. I don't know Antonio Urzi. It might as well be that he's speaking the truth. But I just look at this footage and his story and all my alarm bells go off. Now, since he's a fashion and costume designer, we can assume that not only he is creative and probably got loads of creative ideas, probably he's also quite talented with arts and crafts. And you find images like this from himself online working on the costume. So he's not like, some fashion designers who just direct other people to do the work. It seems like, from what I could find out, that he's quite hands-on and he is an arts and crafts person and is talented with that kind of work. Now, someone went out and did a little experiment, and I want you guys to look at this footage, okay? It looks very, very similar to Antonio Urzi's footage, and in fact, in this one you can see a bird flying around in the back. But here comes the reveal of how this footage was achieved, and it is actually a fairly simple trick how you get this effect, which again looks very, very similar to what we see from Antonio Urzi, and that is you just place a small object on a piece of perspex, on a transparent sheet, or maybe on a mirror, and you can achieve a very, very similar effect. You can see the object flying around, and because you move the camera, and if you move the camera further under the object, it will give the illusion of it flying overhead, and that would also explain why he never really zooms out and tries to film the bigger picture, put objects into the context of buildings and try to make the object disappear behind buildings, because that doesn't work with that technique. And if you look deeper into it, it kind of almost links to what he does, seemingly, right? He is a fashion and costume designer. A lot of the objects that he's filming look very much like buttons, okay, so that would explain why they look the way they do. But there are other examples as well, like this particular object that was captured by him is very much resembling ceiling fixtures, okay? So I'm not saying all of his objects and sightings are achieved with putting buttons on perspex sheets. Some of them might be slightly bigger ceiling fixtures and so on. So for me personally, and again, this is just my opinion, my observation, it's pretty clear that he's hoaxing these sightings. Okay, that's my personal opinion. I'm happy to hear your opinion down in the comment section below. Maybe you disagree. Maybe you can show me some videos of his that disprove what I just explained. I'm open for suggestions. I'm very happy to hear your thoughts down in the comments. But to me, it's not credible. And going hand in hand with that in the bigger picture is like, if you fake one, and I think it's fair to say that some of these films just look very fake, to me at least, then your credibility for all the other sightings is gone as well. Now, he does run a YouTube channel together with his wife. I'll link it down in the description as well. You can check it out. But he stopped uploading around 4 years ago. And some of the newer sightings don't look like these discs anymore, right? It seems like he has evolved his game in terms of the sightings. So you get more objects like that, okay? And I think what this is, these are just Mylar balloons, okay? This is just my interpretation. We've seen this in many, many other UFO videos. That's just how they look, the way they reflect the sun. You just need to get a little bit further away, buy a cluster of these so-called Mylar balloons, and you will get exactly an effect like that. So all of the objects that he's been uploading in recent years look like that, look very similar to these balloons, drift in the wind, and, you know, kind of just tick all the boxes for these kinds of Mylar balloon sightings that we've seen so many times before. So again, I guess the moment where one of your sighting has been debunked or explained, or at least raises the suspicion of being a hoax, it really diminishes the credibility. So I think these are Mylar balloons. I think Antonio Urzi, and that's also why he's probably not uploading anymore, has understood that at this point his credibility in terms of the UFO sector is gone. He probably, presumably, made his money with all the documentaries, and good on him. You know, I'm not here to judge the man. If he found that business niche and that's what he did and he made some money with it, that's good for him. But my personal opinion on his videos is that he's hoaxing them. And I just feel there are still so many people out there who believe his videos are credible or have some credibility, and that's why I wanted to do this video, just to put the question out there, show you guys the alternative story beyond it not just being aliens and all UFOs. Because, I mean, let's be honest, the biggest evidence for all this not being real is that the man had 1,700 sightings allegedly in a city like Milan with 1.3 million people living there, and nobody, as far as I'm aware, has ever filmed anything beyond him. So guys, that's it. That's my breakdown of the Antonio Urzi case and the evidence against him. Again, I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Please leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. I'm happy to stand corrected if you can show me something that I haven't seen before that is more credible than the videos we looked at in today's video. So please don't hesitate to share your thoughts down in the comment section. I hope you enjoyed this little breakdown of this quite legendary UFO case. Okay, many people listed as credible even in 2024. So if you did, then please don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel for more, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm out. Bye.